Kathleen Cribb. No? Oh, okay. We are blessed. I'm sorry. We are blessed to have Reverend Ken Peterson as our speaker today. Thank you, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Kathleen's next week.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful morning. And I know a lot of us don't really want to be inside right now. I need to work out in the yard and everything else. It's a little bit wet, but that's okay. Let me start off with a quote by Laurie Deshane. No one changes unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone change: their own realization that they need to do it. How true is that? And there's so many of us get into relationships or at work or at home or wherever it is, and I can go and I can change them. How often does that work out? I would say not very often, because they're not willing to change themselves. It's like in Al-Anon, they have to learn that they can't change the person that they're with. They just have to deal with it the best they can and go on with their lives as best they can. They can't change the alcoholic. All they can do is support them and love them unconditionally. So today's talk, you could really call it change and choice, because choice creates changes and changes create choice. So they sort of work interconnectedly quite a bit. And so what is choosing? It's making a decision, selecting something, one thing or a group of things, and leaving some other things go. It's making a choice. Every day, we're faced with choices. Some of them are conditional, like getting up in the morning. You got the choice. What am I going to eat for breakfast? What clothes am I going to wear? When we go to work, that's a choice. We must make decisions all day long. And by the end of the day, quite often we're in decisional overload, which means you've made so many decisions a day, you just want to sort of collapse and just be by yourself and let everything else go. Now this seems, when we get home, we make choices to do whatever seems easiest at the moment, which sometimes are not in our best interest. You may get a craving for ice cream and eat that instead of dinner. Of course, that's a choice. Or you can eat candy instead of dinner. That's a choice. But you could also fix a nice healthy meal and feel the benefits of that. And that's a choice. So we make decisions all the time. We have desires, we have needs, and we can pick and choose which ones we want to do, which ones we don't. But quite often, things don't go the way we want. So what do we do? Do we berate ourselves? Do we be mad at ourselves? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. You know what? Make another choice. Don't be upset about yourself. Don't feel that everything in your life is going bad at the time. Because if you really take inventory of your life, it's really not. It's just that one particular moment you're not happy with. But that too is a choice. Think of the lesson that you're learning by making the incorrect choice. So there really is, really, there's no incorrect or correct choice. It's whatever you are doing in the moment that you're choosing to do. What makes it bad or good is your own decision making. Well, how you feel about it. Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you peace? Or does it bring you down? And if I feel down about something, I choose to do something else. That's something we can always do, is choose and make a different choice. Let's take this to another level. Making choices that are major in significance, job changes, major diet changes, changing where we live, choosing what church we go to, or what Zoom we're listening to today, or which one of several. These are all choices that we make all throughout our lives. They can affect our lives in many, many major ways. When we're faced with major decisions like this, we really need to go in and ask ourselves at a soul level, what should I do? Show me the direction I should take. But don't do this out of desperation. Don't make a rash decision, but be calm. Go within, knowing that our loving selves, our God, spirit guides and angelic helpers, they're there. We can ask them for divine guidance and then be willing to, of course, listen to it first. Quite often they give the answer to us in many different ways we're not really aware of, like something in nature that they sort of put there before us. They kind of, oh, yes, I remember that. That makes me feel good. Or if you're deciding where to move to, all of a sudden you'll start being, things will pop up in your life, synchronicities that show you, okay, oh, that might be the place I need to go to. And that sort of brings things around. So they help you make choices in that way. But the main thing is we have to be willing to listen and observe. It's always important to observe things that are going on in your life. And sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes pretty forceful at times. Sometimes you're forced to make a change. For example, if you're laid off from work, you've got to make a choice to either get on your pity pot, feel sorry for yourself, start overeating. There's negative choices in that way, or just say, okay, what lesson did I learn from this? What can I do to go forward in this lifetime and work on myself and find what I need in this lifetime? You need to, make those choices according to what you're looking for. And remember that when we make a choice that's not of our highest needs, we can step back, examine our choice that we just made or we made a month before, and we say, okay, it's not working out. Again, see what the lesson is, and then make a new choice. Because choices are always there presenting themselves to us. In every day, almost every moment, we have a choice. Lessons are learned, and they're there so that we can move forward. We can make better and more informed choices. If we look in the past, not live in the past, but just observe the past, what happened, and see what the lesson was, and then move forward on with your life. Things happen to us all the time. It is how we respond to these situations that's important. Do we scream at ourselves for making some decision that didn't work out the way we hoped it to? Or do we stop? Take that moment in a calm and loving manner and really look at what the lesson was. Sometimes it's not easy to do this in the throes of the moment, but that's when you just need to step back and say, okay, I have a little technique, as I say, called return to center. And that just brings me back into awareness and I've learned to do this, and it brings me back to an alpha state of mind where we normally operate on beta. So it slows me down and lets me examine myself thoroughly, whatever I have learned from this lesson, and say, okay, I learned this. Now what do I want in my life? And that's making a choice. Again, if you're not sure what you want, that's when you go in with your meditation or your prayer saying, help me. I ask your help in making this decision. Please show me in some way the best way to go forward. But what you really need to know is they won't make that choice for you. If you're going to a medium and they say you must do this, go to a different medium, because you always have a choice. A true medium will not make that choice for you. I know in my channel messages, when I used to do personal readings all the time in Florida, they would always say, how come you wouldn't tell me what to do? I said, because it's your choice. They would actually ask the entity being channeled, what should I do with this? And the person that would be responding, or the entity, would say, it's your choice to make your own decision. I can give you particular types of choices that might be good for you, but it's up to you to make that final decision. Otherwise, you'll come back and blame me for having told you the wrong thing. But it's you who have chosen that particular pathway, not the channel that tells you, or the reading that you receive at a psychic fair, for example. They can't make choices for you. You still have that ability and should make those choices for yourself. Know that your divine self, which I call my higher self, is the true you. It's your soul. It's your spirit. It does not make mistakes. You may think you've made a mistake, but ultimately, everything is in perfect divine order. If you will but allow yourself to step back from your personal angst, or for whatever the situation is, just step back for a minute, remove yourself from the situation, and then, okay, let me examine all the details of what is going on right now. And this is important. Examine those details in your life and make that inventory. Make your decisions based on what you've experienced and what you desire for your highest outcome. Your human self and your spiritual self is really ultimately striving just to be more perfect, more trusting, living a life of harmony and peace and love within ourselves. Remember, we can't take away the free will of others and make them into loving, peaceful beings. It's just not going to happen. They have to choose to be that way. So don't get down on somebody because they're not making the right decision from what your viewpoint is. Your viewpoint is from you and you alone. They have their own life, their own karma, so to speak, and they have to decide, just as I said in that opening quotation, they have to decide themselves that they want to change or that they need to change, and then make the change. You've got to make that decision on your own that, yes, this is a problem. I need to change it. I need to make another choice in my life so that I can move on and feel open, friendly, loving, towards everyone I meet. So you're really striving to be your most loving, peaceful, harmonious self. You want to be in harmony with those around you. And the more you get into this, and the more you have self-love, the more you want to remove yourself from conflict. Sometimes we find ourselves isolating ourselves. At least I do. I don't want to go out in public sometimes, and heaven forbid well, not that the malls are a big thing anymore. It used to be when you can go into a mall and there's all these hundreds and hundreds of people. Those of us who are sensitive or empathic can be bombarded by emotions and energy. But again, once you realize what's happening, you have that choice to say, okay, I put a barrier of light around me. I will absorb only positive energy and reject all or transmute all the negative energy that's coming to me. That is a choice. Day by day, you are bombarded with choices. So make your choices. Keep up with them. Be able to recognize when you need to make another choice. That's probably the most important thing, is recognizing the fact that, yeah, I'm in a rut. Let's get out of it. It's my choice to do so. Let me find what's going to make me happy and bring me more joy in my life. Now, is this easy or difficult? That's your decision. So many people make every decision difficult, but it's actually pretty easy. Find what brings you joy, peace, and love. Choose on those aspects. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Let your light shine to such an extent that you have effect on others, that you will help them see what the capabilities are of a person, or even what my capabilities are. Shine your light so bright that they will feel maybe the need to change, but that's up to them, of course. Don't try to change them. Just be that example of peace and harmony, and love. Be that example of how a loving being reacts or responds to individuals. Remember the story of Jesus and the lady who was healed, who reached out and touched the hem of his garment. Jesus had a wonderful energy about him. He was confident. He was at peace. He was full of energy, of loving peace, and he just exuded that, and people were drawn to it, just the way someone in your world that presents themselves in a loving manner, you're drawn to them as well. You're drawn to that peace, that you're drawn to that power, you're drawn to the healing nature of that individual. Remember, Jesus himself did not heal her. She made the choice that if I touch just the hem of his garment, I will be healed. She made that choice, and therefore allowed the energy that was already there just to flow through her and create the healing that she needed. The same goes for each one of us. The energy's there. We just have to choose, okay, it's time. Time to make that change. Time to allow healing into my life. Time to let my peace be more important than the disharmony. And therefore I make this choice. And again, if it doesn't work out, make another one. That's the beauty of it. You always have the ability to make another choice. You're not stuck. You're never stuck in any situation. And just, if you feel that way sometimes, do that rigorous inventory of yourself. Okay, what do I need to change? What should I? There's no shoulds. If you're doing a should, it means that you're probably doing something someone else thinks you should do. But even with yourself, I should do this. It means you're putting yourself into that narrow little aspect where you have to make a choice about this particular situation in the moment now. But just allow, I say, rather than I should do this, I allow myself to find what is necessary right now for me, to bring me my peace, to bring me my joy within. And for me, quite often, my joy is going outside working in the yard, to be around the plants that I love. I've got hundreds and hundreds of plants in my yard, and I love each and every one of them in their own way. They're all special to me, just as your pets are special to you. We've got a house full of cats. 4 kittens if anybody wants one. They're just getting weaned. And anyway, we all have that ability to make those choices and connect with our higher selves and let that divine light fill ourselves and let that love permeate every bit of your physical being. Your higher dimensional selves, it filters down when you choose to acknowledge that you have these higher dimensional selves of you. Allow that energy of them to flow through you, and it will. But you have to, again, make the choice to allow it to happen. So remember, always, you are that divine light and essence. And it's up to you to claim it, to make that choice. I will end with another quotation, this time from Ralph Marston. Happiness is a choice, not a result. Nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. No person will make you happy unless you decide to be happy. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you. Thank you for allowing me to present your lecture today. So I leave you in peace and love.